Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to another season here at TRACKILICIOUS. We are going into some iRacing action, and I'm not doing it by myself this time. I am joined by the legend himself, Will Brunner, over here with us. Say hi, Will.
Hello, everyone.
Alrighty, I think that your audio is coming through, and Santiago can confirm for us. No, Tyler, it is indeed iRacing. And if it's not updated, hopefully the category will be updated now. We are going into some multi-class action GT3, GT4 here tonight. And we have quite a few GT3s, not so many GT4s, but hopefully that'll fill out through the season. Will, what are you excited about here at Hockenheimring today?
I'm excited to see how people deal with the different traffic scenarios than they've had. So, you know, those guys that have been in GT3s as the slower class, how they deal with being the faster class now, and those guys that were in the faster class with LMP2 now are gonna have an easier time passing, but also not. So really looking to see how everybody adjusts to their quote-unquote new surroundings compared to previous.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, Will. The qualifying's already underway, so I'm gonna take our faces off the screen and go into the live action. We have quite a few people out there. The GT3s out there already on their qualifying lap, 3 minutes and 15 seconds into the 20-minute qualifying session. The GT3s out first, and then the GT4s coming in soon. And thanks to Will here today, we're gonna have some picture-in-picture action coming up. So if we see something that we like, some replay that we missed, and anybody have any questions that we want to go back and review, we'll have we'll pop in that replay for us and have some picture-in-picture. How is everybody in chat doing? A couple of first-time chatters. JMart 7077, welcome back. Welcome, first time, not back. How are you doing? How's everyone doing tonight? Ready for some mixed class action in the racing of the eyes here in Germany, in virtual Germany at Hockenheimring. And you know what, Will? It's interesting. I was looking up some information from Hockenheimring, and there are quite a few layouts through history, and it's grown and grown, and we finally settled at this point in time into this unique configuration. Is this a track that you drive much? Are you familiar with it? Do you know the ins and outs of Hockenheimring?
I would say I know it decently well. I haven't done as much on iRacing. It was one of the ones that I got a little later than it debuted. I think it was probably 2 or 3 iRacing seasons before I actually picked it up, even though I liked the track, just the series that I liked weren't necessarily going there. But yeah, I think it's a good one. I think there's definitely some decent possibilities for overtaking, especially down into that hairpin. Like, that's a big stop, big chance if you're really good on the brakes where you can really make a difference. But yeah, that's a good one. Turn 1's can be a little tricky, but it's also really fun. You know, you're really slinging it in there. Don't take too much curb or you're gonna go flying, but also if you're not right on it, right on that curb, then you're losing time. So turn 1's definitely an interesting one there.
Yeah, I can't see. I think it's been probably somewhere in the order of a decade before I last drove Hockenheimring, and it is. I remember it being fun. I remember that high-speed left-hander being super fun to drive into, and then really challenging carrying all that speed, trying to nail that hairpin. But something for Corey Young isn't a problem. Corey Young P2 right now, with a 1 minute 38.84, tied with a 1 minute 38.84 with Joel Bandera to the 100th of a second. Unbelievable. That is amazing. And we'll be looking out for Cody Wasem. I'm sure he's going to be putting a smoking lap. And veterans like Tamazic, Stringer, Justin Moffitt joining. So going to be a really fun season. Some familiar names and some unfamiliar names as we go through the season.
Yeah, we got a few new names I saw. popping in last second, so hopefully they can get their feet under them and have a fun time joining the championship.
And some people sporting the brand new Aston, the V2 or whatever it's called these days. Some love in chat for the Aston and my beloved, the very established, intelligent, and exquisite Aston Martin AMG GT3. That one's for you, Tyler. They do look great. They're gosh, that front end, so menacing, and the sound. How can you say no? Ooh, a couple of contenders for that top spot. Go ahead.
Those upshifts just so good.
We got some contenders for that top spot. We got Barry Oh, I know. Gosh, I'm sorry, Barry. I'm gonna wreck your last name. Sesams, hopefully. Barry is gosh, what is his Twitch handle? I'll think about it in a second. But friends of TRACKILICIOUS, great guy, great streamer. Met up with him actually at the Sim Gaming Expo, which was a blast.
That's fun. That looked like a good time from everything I've seen.
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, for it being the first time ever, the organizers, George, did an absolutely fantastic job. Unbelievable. Had some of the biggest names in sim racing in terms of the companies that came out, were out there supporting. You know, you got SimiCube, you got GSI, you got Podium One, and who else? A whole bunch of them. It was fantastic to hang around. Hüssinkveld, of course, Hüssinkveld. I am owner of some Hüssinkveld pedals, which treat me quite well. Sim Labs was out there with their rigs and their new DD that they're about to start selling. So that was interesting to see.
Oh yeah? You get to try it out or just saw it?
You know, I actually didn't do any driving while I was at the expo. I think I drove one thing, which was actually super cool. The Arc Dynamics motion sim. It was a full 6-axis motion sim. Was incredible. And you know, when I talk about, we're not just talking about a 4-post thing, like the whole platform was moving. You know, it had the whole hydraulics and all that stuff going. How much do you think something like that goes for, Will?
Minimum 50,000.
Yeah. They were selling it for $5,500 delivered.
Whoa.
I mean, that's with the sim seat and stuff on top of it. The motion platform itself, they were selling for $3,500, which is unbelievable. Wow. I mean, I had to try really hard not to buy one then and there.
Yeah, I bet.
Unbelievable. No, Santiago, was $3,500 for a full freaking platform motion rig. And it's obviously, that is like just unbelievably reasonably priced, and that's not a fair price, but their plan is to build a community around the platform to try and explore different use cases for it. So it's really with the customer and the community in mind, more so than let's go make a buck, because they could up that price by tenfold and still be able to sell it.
Well, looks like we've got GT4 starting to come out as we've got people finishing up their laps. Chris McNichol just came off his best of a 139.0 in 13th. Let's see, who else is finishing up? A lot of the GT3s are already in, or a lot are coming into the pits now, so looks like we're pretty well set with the order. Trying to see if anybody else is still on a flyer. Justin Moffitt looks like he might still be on one. He's coming through the stadium section now, so we'll see what that's gonna look like. Nope, he's pulling into the pits too. Almost Lewis Hamilton that. Yeah, I think that's it for GT3 laps.
And Mave might still be on one, not having set a lap so far, I don't think. Yeah, we don't see a lap completed. So this would be Mave's last attempt here, trying to get that lap in with the GT3 Mustang here. Coming around the final corner here, but no.
Nope. Into the pits he goes. I don't think he crossed the line in time. I was actually a little curious and was about to be concerned, but
yeah,
we're all good.
It is pretty late. That would not have been a valid lap in terms of when they're allowed to do laps. So we do have our GT3 grid set then. Jordan Smith, a familiar name, P1. Bronson Turner back in the podium spots for the qualifying session in P2. Barry Sessoms in P3. Corey Young, Josh Willis, Alex Hansen, Frederick Goupel, Steven Tomazic, Chris Lovett, Zachary Rust. Actually met Chris Lovett as well at the Sim Gaming Expo. That was super awesome. Joel Bandera, Cody Wassam, Chris McNichol, Morgan Stringer, that's right, and Corey Fortner, Justin Moffat, Tyler Smith, and Brian Barrow with the last qualifying position, with Timothy Perriman and Christopher Edmave not having set a qualifying lap. So that's your top 18 plus 2. And waiting for now our 5 GT4 drivers. Doc Milwee, welcome back. How are you doing? Papa Milwee in chat.
Well, looks like little Mercedes heavy at the top of the list, I believe, unless I'm forgetting. Unless Jordan Smith switched, but I believe he's a Mercedes. And
yeah,
I know
got the Merc.
Yeah, he's a Mercedes, so that's Mercedes, Aston Martin, Mercedes, BMW, Aston for your top 6 in terms of manufacturers.
So that Merc looking strong. Probably the closest you could find to a home track. Actually, where is Hockenheimring? In Hockenheim, apparently.
Great question. I should know that.
Let's see who's closer, Mercedes or BMW. Hockenheim, Germany. Google Maps, help me out. All right, Hockenheim is on the west side, and that will be Mercedes. Stuttgart being much closer than Munich, which is where BMW is based. Anybody ever gets to go to Germany, Stuttgart, Munich, fantastic places to visit. You go to Stuttgart, you get to visit Mercedes and Porsche. If you go to Munich, you got BMW. Great museums.
It is on the list for next year when I go.
I would highly recommend visiting both the Porsche and the Mercedes Museum. The Mercedes Museum is huge. Porsche Museum smaller but cool. And then definitely go to the BMW Museum, which is quite large as well. Then history buffs, lots of historic action in Munich. So definitely research the historic sites to visit in Munich. Sad history, but some cool stuff. Alrighty, so we got Jacob Cunningham, a familiar name, currently sitting in P1 with a 147.18. Closest and next person on the list, Samuel King with a 153.2. We do have a livery deep dive requested here by Parker Standard in the Mustang. Haha. Parker, I take it you're Canadian, just slapping on a whole bunch of Blue Jays logos on there as the Jays go in for their second ever World Series title. I believe it's the second.
I don't want to think about postseason baseball right now.
What's your team, Will?
Phillies fan, so it's been a rough one. 2 years in a row now.
Jays. Oh no, they have two. This would be their third one. They went back to back in '92 and '93.
Okay.
I guess the Phillies in '93 as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to admit, I know practically nothing about baseball, but I have been I've been absolutely infatuated with the viral clip of the Blue Jays player and the commentator. Gosh, I forget what his name is. Constantly repeating, "The Yankees lose."
Oh, yeah, I gotta enjoy that.
So funny to me. What's up, Mike? Mike Pico in chat. Mike, why aren't you in the race today?
Yeah, where are you?
As Parker Standard in P3 now with a 148.46. Just 1.5 seconds down from Cunningham's ridiculous speed.
Yeah, those GT4 times are tightening up a little bit, though. So we'll see. They could turn out a decent race. I do believe Jacob Cunningham is planning on doing some slightly silly strategy things purely because he knows, like, he is pretty quick and is just in GT4s to have some fun.
Muff, thank you for completing your sentence. I was left to guess the rest of the stuff. Oh no. Did you get that new rig back together, Mike, or together? I know you were working on something. Excited to see what your new setup looks like. Mike Pico, ladies and gentlemen, this dad's bad. Go check him out if you haven't. So actually, while Muff is in chat here chilling, Muff, how do you pronounce Barry's last name? Is it Sesams? Is that right? P1X and a 49 ultra wide. We're twinning,
Jealous
Mike.
on that 49. Jealous on that ultra wide.
We're twinning. That's what I'm running as well. Mike actually helped me. I bought a P1X. Next one's going to be a TR160. Cool. Very cool. Alrighty, we got Sam King going in as our qualifying session is almost over. Cunningham still out there. That livery is looking absolutely fantastic. And I want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Brunner here, who has put in a lot of work making those banners for the cars. They're looking absolutely fantastic. So you can see on the windshields, the top of the windshields for the cars that have taken the time to actually make liveries. Got the TRACKILICIOUS banner and the TRACKILICIOUS number plates. Looking so hot. The GT3 and GT4 cars.
I was, much to my chagrin, I figured out part of the way through. I had older templates for the GT4s, and I knew that they had gotten updated, but I didn't realize they got art updates until I was part of the way in, and I was like, oh, I gotta go back and actually rework these a little bit, but it's all good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of qualifying. Jacob Cunningham bringing in the podium position in the GT4s. Ray Frias in P2, a little bit behind. Parker Strandrett, P3, Sam King, P4, and Brad Sievers is in the race today.
No, I believe he had to leave early this evening. He was just doing some practice.
Gotcha.
With us for now, but he'll be back later in the season.
Well,
So
that sets our
it'll be
grid.
interesting to, yeah, it'll be interesting to see the Cunningham has a good time on the board, but that Mustang's got a lot of legs, and here at Hockenheim, that can make a big difference, you know, especially against the Porsche's not the strongest on top end. So you're kind of playing that game of high speed versus high handling, and that could make things interesting for him. Maybe not as straightforward as the qualifying would seem to indicate.
Yeah, I'm not so familiar with Hockenheimring. It does seem to have a lot of straighty bits and not
Yes.
as many curvy bits. So you would think that there would be a bit of an advantage to the Mustang. But I know Cunningham's skill is quite exemplary, so it's going to be tough for the guys behind to catch up to him.
Yes, for sure. And then up front, those Mercedes, kind of a similar story a little bit in terms of they've got some pretty good top ends, so it's not surprising to see them up there.
Alrighty, we have. Try to see if we can find a camera that works for what I'm trying to do. We're going to do a bit of a grid walk here. Well, let's do the blimp cam. Got Jordan Smith in P1, Bronson Turner P2, Barry Sessoms in P3, Corey Young in P4, Josh Willis coming in P5, Alex Hansen P6, Frederic Goupil in P7, Stephen G. Tomazic in P8, Chris Lovett in P9, Zach Rust, Flying American in P10, Joel Bandera not loaded yet in P11, Cody Wassam in P12. We got the likes of Chris McNichol in P13. Then we go to Morgan Stringer in P14, Corey Fortner P15, Justin Moffett P16, Tyler Smith in P17, Brian Barrow in P18 for all of the qualified GT3s. Then we got Ray Frias, Jacob Cunningham. It's really Jacob Cunningham, Ray Frias, Sam King, and then Christopher Admave. And there you have it. Those are the qualified grid with Parker Strandrett in the pits, Timothy Perriman, and Brad Sievers. Well, we know Brad's not here right now, but we are on our way and about to get into the heat of things. And Will, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to seeing how turn one goes, because turn one here is an interesting balance of it's not a big braking zone and it's a pretty fast corner, but if you're side by side, you have to take a lot off of it. So it can be an interesting challenge to get through it cleanly side by side with somebody. So look towards just try to make sure you get through turn one, and then you can kind of think about, okay, maybe I can do something down into, I believe it's turn 3 is the number for the first big braking zone. You know, maybe just trying to plan for that. And I am gonna watch the GT4s on the start.
Yeah, and we know what? We'll actually turn that on for everybody. So you've got the GT4s, we've got the GT3s. We're gonna capture them all. GT3s about to get rocking and rolling. We got go, go, go. I would say green lights, but it's actually red lights on the board, and Jordan Smith gets a fantastic start. Bronson Turner tucking in just behind. Everybody looking pretty neat and tidy, making it through turn 1 and turn 2, coming up with a hard braking zone here. How are those GT4s looking?
GT4s are looking good. They pretty much strung into a straight line right away, and then there is that one GT3 that didn't qualify that is sitting back, but he's being nice and respectful. No issues there so far, so we've got a good clean start at the back as well. Oh, who do we have that appears to be spun? Oh, looks like Morgan Stringer might have had an issue on the outlap as some of the GT4s are currently overtaking him.
We'll let you focus on that. Looks like Morgan Stringer's teammate Bronson Turner in P2 now, bringing the charge to Jordan Smith. Jordan Smith still maintaining a good lead. Josh Willis has found some pace, now up into P3, just behind these lead two contenders. Josh looking pretty strong, but under attack from Barry Sessoms. Barry looking strong, and I'm still struggling to remember what his Twitch handle is, and I'm sure he's streaming and it's driving me absolutely nuts.
Okay, it was just a little cold tires incident, one of those classic, like just spun them up just a little bit. That was enough to slow down just enough. So, but overall, looks like it was a pretty clean, pretty safe lap one. And on we go with Bronson Turner still holding close with Jordan Smith going on to lap 2.
Yeah, Turner.
Looks like
Go ahead.
Josh had a pretty good opening lap. What, 2 places, I believe, from qualifying.
Yeah, Josh looking pretty sharp, usually pretty opportunistic in his moves, which is great. He sees the gap and takes it, and that has gained him a 2-spot advantage up into P3. And he's gonna be looking forward to that battle up ahead. Jordan Smith and Turner still at it, not really slowing down much. Those two were quite fast and looking pretty good. Jordan building a bit of a gap, about 2 car lengths now between himself and Jordan Smith, or say Bronson and Jordan Smith. And Bronson's not one to give up. He is a previous race winner here at Tracklicious in the iRacing series, and he's going to be continuing to apply the pressure onto Jordan, hoping for some magic up ahead.
Yeah, if those two start battling, there's always the possibility you want to stay close, and if you can be there when there's an issue, if one of them push comes to shove, then, you know, you can be nice and opportunistic. Just looking back here farther down in the field, it looks like we've got Zachary Rust and Justin Moffitt pretty close together. Moffitt looking a little more confident in his lines currently, but you know, that Mustang can be pretty tricky on cold tires, so once they get up to temp and pressure, we'll see how that changes around.
Stringer trying to work his way back up. It's actually in a GT3 battle in the back here. Him and the likes of Christopher and Mave, both in the GT3s, both ending up in the back of the grid here. Now trying to work their way forward. Stringer did have a pretty good quality position, much better than he is now. 5 positions down from where he was. I'm sure will be working his way back up, but for now stuck behind the Mustang.
Yeah, I wonder if the Mustang just didn't get a clean lap in. Well, looks like the Corvette might be just giving it away, giving a little space there. Not really fighting the two of them coming through, so live to fight another day.
Brian Barrow saying, you know what, you guys go ahead. I'm cool. I'm chilling. Love the color on that Corvette though, that blue, purple, red, looking pretty hot. Just,
yeah, that looked very nice.
Yeah, just missing a Trackalicious banner as all. Anyways, look,
there's a few of them that can work on it for next week.
Looking for some battles up ahead. We got Corey Young being chased down by the likes of Alex Hansen. Hansen coming over from the ACC side of things in that Aston Martin now. And
yeah, he was pretty quick last season in GT3. He was one of the guys that was usually up front taking the fight to whoever was leading that week.
You know what? Alex is a grinder. He's one of those guys that kind of commits to it and really wants to improve and does a really good job at it. So it's really good to see. He's very new to iRacing. I think started last season. And I don't know if he's ever going to turn back. I'm pretty sure he does some LMU, but ACC might be in his rear view mirror and something which he is trying to drive away from, which is Frédéric Goupil, our French-Canadian driver in the Porsche, chasing down Alex Hansen. Hansen trying to look ahead, challenge Corey Young. Corey Young looking ahead, trying to challenge Barry Sessoms. Barry Sessoms looking ahead, really pressuring Josh Willis in P3 there, trying to find that last podium spot. Josh, a cool head, doing a good job so far. But the two ahead, Bronson Turner and Jordan Smith, are just driving away.
Well, if you want to look over on my side, I can show you how Morgan Stringer got through on Christopher Admave.
We do have the picture-in-picture up.
All right. So it looks like going through here, he gets a pretty good run, and that Mustang just gets a little bit of a twitch out in those curbs. You know, you can... It's clean, you can run out there and not get a track limits violation, but it's risky. You know, you can get... It's a little bumpier because you're on the curbs, and you can just get out there and get a wiggle, and that's all that Morgan Stringer needed to get through.
And there you have it. Overtake done for Stringer.
But those two, the two behind, aren't letting him get away. They're still sticking with him.
Alrighty. Well, talking about sticking with him, we have Barry Sessoms really pressuring Josh Willis, almost making contact a second ago, I believe. If not actually making contact, having to adjust. Josh in the BMW, really under pressure from the two Mercedes cars behind. Those AMGs looking quite hot.
I saw Sessoms get pretty close to him down into the hairpin a lap or two ago. So I'm sure, you know, again, it's one of those things, that hairpin, it's super tricky to get it slowed down when you've got another car in front of you and not run up somebody's tailpipes.
Really cool tidbit about Barry. Super chill dude, a huge member of the community in sim racing and a big member contributing towards a lot of things in the Moradness community. Actually, so much so that he got invited out to drive Daniel Morad's GT4 Mercedes, which was super cool to see online somewhere. So yeah, check it out on one of the YouTubes. You can see Barry driving the GT4. What was that,
well,
Josh? Making a mistake? Is Barry alongside? That is indeed. Barry has some overlap, has the inside line, going for a move. Josh on the outside absolutely sends it and maintains a spot. That is an opportunity for Corey Young to take advantage of the situation. Barry still fighting for it, though. Barry and Corey side by side. Barry dropping back a spot. That move he made just not working out for him, dropping him back not only behind Corey Young, but now potentially in the clutches of Alex Hansen. Hansen looking opportunistic, taking as much of the track as he can to carry that speed through. Barry now down into P5, losing 2 positions from the start. Is gonna want to get that back, and he does have nearly 50 minutes left to go to do that.
Well, hey, that's the risk you take when you're trying. Ooh, that was a little wide for Alex. That's always the risk you take when you try stick your nose out, try and make that move. You know, in close battles like this, if you got a line of cars behind you, that's easy enough for somebody to go, "Oh, thank you, I'll take that."
Yep, it is quite the challenge.
As it looks like we are getting lap maybe another 2 to the leader catching the back of GT4. So then we'll start to see some traffic and see how that starts to play out. As we also, I think, have Parker Standeret potentially catching up to Samuel King a little bit. That gap looks like it's closing up some as they catch up from, I think Parker pit started, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember seeing him on the starting grid. So he'll have lost some time to that, and will be working to see if he can get back onto the podium from pit lane.
Yeah, I do think you're right. I think he did pit start. Now you have the likes of Chris McNichol, Justin Moffett, and Zach Rust, all three within half a second of each other, fighting for P12. Three different makes: the Mustang, the Mercedes, and the BMW. I feel like there's a joke there. A Mustang, a Mercedes, and a BMW walk into a bar.
Well, they are the big boys of the class, shall we say. Well, especially the Mustang and BMW.
Loads of people looking quite racy. Justin Moffett only a tenth or two right behind the likes of Chris McNichol, both quite experienced drivers, as well as Zach. I don't know if you could see that, but quite nervous seeing Chris McNichol flash in and out of existence.
That occasionally happens with him, unfortunately, but, you know, that's just part of the world we live in, and the some parts of the country have better internet than others.
Yeah, that's interesting, Mike. There isn't a single McLaren on the grid. That's kind of odd.
It's very surprising.
Yeah, it's kind of a popular choice, especially for Bronson Turner. He used to main that McLaren.
Well, shiny new Aston probably looked pretty good for them, considering that pair of them, that's where they went. But yeah, I seem to remember 2-3 seasons ago, McLarens were almost half the grid.
People usually attracted to the shiny new thing is we have Josh Willis a bit wide again. Corey Young having a sniff from that large nose of the Mercedes right there. He's looking quite chargy.
Ooh. Big defense through that corner, but oh, that was a little close there with Barry. Looked like he was potentially going to come piling in. And it looks like right behind that, Frederick Ruppel's going for a move.
Indeed.
Yeah, he's through on Alex Hansen, but Hansen looks like he might. Nope. Okay. Looked like he was going to try and get back up the inside next corner.
I'd love to see a replay on that, Will,
Yeah,
when you have a
absolutely.
chance to
Can
bring
do
that
that.
up, because I know those two have been fighting for a little bit, and looks like Corey Young is through on Josh Willis.
I am ready when you are.
Alrighty, we got that replay up and looking forward to it.
So going through turn 4. Doesn't look like much, but I guess just that draft. And the Porsche had some decent legs to get to the outside down in the hairpin. Now that's a tricky one to be on the outside coming into this. Let's see what he did. Yep, okay. It was a switchback, a very nicely performed switchback on Alex Hansen by Frederick Ruppel to get that inside and then clear into the fast right-hander. Alex looked like he thought about it, but just didn't have the brakes to do it. And now Joel Bandera's stalking, looking like he wants to try and maybe think about doing something, but nothing doing yet.
You know what, Will? I would love to actually jump to the replay.
Yep, go for it.
The,
What am I looking for?
the replay for Josh and Corey. Corey Young seems to have made a mistake and dropped back into fourth. from his third place overtake from Josh. Nearly instantly, so it must have been 30, 40 seconds ago.
Let's see. So he was in front. All right. Go for me.
Yeah, we are on.
Let's see. Well, I see a GT4, so let's see. Was this traffic? Was this traffic induced, maybe? I see a flash of the lights. Goes the outside of the GT4. Ooh, and just a little bit of a scrape on the GT4, and that was all she wrote. I mean, I don't think look back at it again, but I don't think there was too much there. I mean, he goes for the outside move, really tricky spot, and then kind of just turns in and taps, and that was enough to loosen up the car, and Josh took advantage. So, as they say, traffic giveth and traffic taketh away. Well, traffic tooketh away there. See, maybe it'll help him later.
Unfortunate for Corey, all that hard work getting past Josh. Josh is not an easy person to overtake, but does finally...
No, he is not.
Did finally get it done, and now has to duck back.
Ooh, big moment behind them, going down to the hairpin. Let's try and figure out who that is. All right. Yeah, so it looks like it was Wassam and Cody Wassam and Alex Hansen. I've got a replay when you're ready.
Yeah, we're still on. We're actually seeing Wass in the wall now. Oh my goodness, more shenanigans happening before you go into the replay. We got Wass in the wall. We got Corey Fortner dealing with the situation. So would love to see what happened there. Well, I'll let you deal with the replay while we continue to watch the battle between Rust McNichol and Stringer now. Yeah, Rust McNichol, Stringer. No, sorry, Moffitt. So much going on.
Ready to go.
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, so it looks like Cody Wassam went to the outside, and Alex tried to squeeze him over, and then he just had a little bit of a moment coming off the curb. Got out into him and put both of them in the wall. That's a tough one. I mean, and then he had to stop at the hairpin because the car doesn't have enough lock to make it through on that tight of an angle. Let's see, was there oops. Did anything else happen on this? Yeah, okay, and then he's just into the pits. 41 minutes remaining on 65% fuel. That's going to be tight, but I think he should be able to make it. Luckily for him, within this league, we have a fast repair, so, this doesn't completely ruin his day. Yep, there the nose pops in, so if he can make it on fuel, he'll be all right to make it to the end and still potentially pull out a decent result if he can find the speed.
Maybe some fuel management early while he gauges whether he's able to make it all the way through. In the meantime, we do have Corey Young and Josh Willis battling back and forth. Corey Young makes an incredible move, but Josh coming back on the inside on the final turn does have the advantage. Barry looking for an opportunity now, tucking back behind Corey Young. Corey Young side by side with Josh Willis. Josh Willis, Corey Young side by side into the final turn. No, turn one, sorry. Now bumping and banging. Fortunately, they have fenders to really protect their wheels from going over each other. Corey has the inside line into turn two. Now tucking back into turn three. Josh Willis going back behind Corey Young, and Corey makes that stick, having lost the P3 position due to some lap traffic or from the other class. Now Barry right there looking for an opportunity. Josh making a move, taking a sniff, but not quite there. And it looks like that position is quite secured by Corey. Now Josh threatening that P4, sorry, Barry threatening that P4 position, while Frederick Guppel right there behind the group, looking for any possible advantage to be gained.
That is one heck of a battle right now. A lot of respect given there. You know, obviously they had a little bit of something in turn one, but hey, that's such a hard corner to go side by side in and not bang wheels a little bit. So that was really awesome racing all around. And I'm sure that's not over with from behind, because Barry's looked all day like he wants to try and make that move. And as you were saying, Josh is a hard person to pass. I've unfortunately been on the receiving end of that when on one of the rare occasions I was faster than him in a race, and trying to find a way through was quite challenging.
And that's not the only battle going on. Chris Lovett under applying a lot of pressure to Steven Tomazic. Lovett right there. Mercedes on Aston Martin. I love that color scheme. The black, green on black looks slick.
Yeah, it's a very, very pretty one for sure. Looks like we're thinking about it, but nothing there yet. Let's see. How are those GT4s looking? Looks like Jacob Cunningham's got a decent lead. Last lap around. Oh, I don't that anymore.
Well,
yeah.
I actually want to see a replay. Looks like Barry did finally overtake Josh, and we missed it. And Frederick's right behind. He's applying a lot of pressure. Josh is not one to typically move rearwards during a race. He's got incredible race pace, but something must not be jiving. He's gone from third to fourth to fifth now, and maybe threatening a sixth place as Frederick Goupil right behind, looking, sniffing on the inside and not quite having it on this lap, but we'll be looking to move forward.
I've got it when you are ready.
And we are go.
So, coming down into 3, Barry really closes up on the apex. And Josh looks like he's got a little bit of a twitch coming out. Maybe he just a little too much on the throttle. And then, as I was saying earlier, those Mercedes, one of their strengths is their top end. So, you know, down here, that little mistake translates into a lot more speed. And then, wow, very nice. Barry just carries the speed around the outside. That's all she wrote. So I believe that leaves us with a Mercedes 1, 2, 3, 4 now.
We got Bronson Turner and the Aston Martin in P2, so
right. Yep.
1, 3, and 4, which isn't a bad shout still. Love it. And Tomazic still going at it. Love it. Applying immense amounts of pressure, trying to gain that spot.
Looks like in spite of that damage from the little bit of contact, actually no, that's the wrong side of the car. Wonder what happened there. I was gonna say Parker Standerat's catching up to Samuel King still.
Oh, love it. Looking on the outside into turn 1, not quite having enough overlap to make it work, but by golly, he is right there. Chris seems like he has the pace, just does not have the track position.
Really loving how Samuel King went with the spooky theme and has a version of the skeleton Rexy on his car and then the orange wheels to go along with it. Love that. Love to see it.
Bit of the Halloween theme matching the lovely Trackalicious banner developed by Will Brunner here in the commentary booth. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the GT4 grid is so small. You know, last season we had an incredible balance of the two classes, loads to fight for.
Yeah. It is unfortunate. I think hopefully there's a lot more people signed up in GT4 than are here this week, so I'm hoping more of them make it out next week. Or not next week, 2 weeks.
Well, unfortunately, we missed Chris's overtake. He is ahead of Steven Tomazic now, so if you could go back and give us a review of what happened, that would be absolutely fantastic.
Let's see this. Oh, I might be having a little bit of a replay problem there. We'll see in a second. Ooh, that's a little frustrating. Looks like they may not have been on my drawn cars at the time of that, which I thought mine were maximized, so that's a little interesting. It looks like it was another move down into the hairpin where just Chris Lovett got a nice run coming down to it, and then there was a bit of over-under through the hairpin, but he made it stick. So nicely done on that one.
Speaking of nicely done, we have a bit of a race here between Morgan Stringer, Cody Wassam, and Christopher Admave. Wass in the fresh rubber Ferrari looking to gain a position that is currently held by Morgan Stringer.
Looks like he's potentially sporting some damage still. I don't know if that's from... Maybe he'd never pit after that incident we looked at earlier, because that's a decent amount of damage still on that car.
Maybe we can get a better idea of the handling being inside the vehicle.
Yeah, no, it looks like he never pit after that incident.
Cody does have quite a bit of pace, generally speaking. Oh, that was a random tap of the brakes for Stringer. Cody has the overlap he needs, looking on the inside. Side by side through the hairpin, and Cody just makes it stick. Morgan trying not to lose two positions, but here it comes, Christopher Admave. Admave looking on the inside now, but Morgan able to hold it and stay ahead in that new Aston Martin. Job done by Cody Wassam, though.
Nicely done to retain that spot after losing out there. Surprised Wassam hasn't pit. I mean, we're almost at the halfway mark, and these cars can make it on what they've got a decent bit over halfway, so I would have thought he'd pit and fix that damage at this stage.
Oh, looks like we might have...
He's keeping going, so... 38.2 is still decent pace as well, so I guess it's not affecting him as much as the visual looks like it would.
I was indicated that Ray Frias might have a crash, but
okay,
I'm not seeing it. Looking for more battles. Moffitt under pressure from Zach Rust.
I am not seeing anything on a quick run back through. Not in the last couple laps, anyway.
Oh, interestingly enough, Cody Wassam has caught up to Chris McNichol now. Oh no, McNichol flashing, Wassam on the inside. Makes the move. McNichol fighting back on the right-hander though. Applying a bit of pressure onto Wass. Wass not breaking under the pressure and does manage to get that move to stick. Now up into 10th position, waiting for his car to update. As you hear the blow off of that Ferrari, very recognizable sound off those turbos.
One of the best parts of seeing the 488s in person were those blow-off sounds off the turbos. Especially downshifts down into the heel of the boot at Watkins Glen. Just very nice.
Very nice. Got a bunch of people pitting, having pitted.
Yeah, 'tis the season, I would say. Getting to that time of the race. As Brian Barrow's in. Looks like Chris McNichol's on his way out.
Got Bronson Turner in P2. Let's do a bit of a sit rep across the grid. Jordan Smith still holding that P1 quite firmly. Has built a bit of a gap. 4.1 seconds to Bronson Turner. Bronson Turner in P2. Hasn't given up yet. Still chasing down the Mercedes. Josh Willis being promoted into P3 as Corey Young and Barry Sessoms come into the pits. These guys. Let's have a look. Oh, that's a bit of an unfortunate position for Barry as the two Mercedes go into the pits. Corey has the farther up spot, able to see it, stops, and then Barry has to kind of figure his way into his pit stop through Corey. Now, who gets off first? Looks like Corey does manage to launch earlier. Barry still stuck into the pits and manages to get out. So we'll be a couple seconds behind Corey now, but we'll be working hard to catch up. But that is quite a gap that's been built there. Looks like about 5 seconds as well. So they are the highest of the pitters so far. And as we were going through, it was Willis, Bandera, Lovett now up into P5, Wassam in P6, Stringer in P7, and then Corey Young being the pitted car is now in P8.
Be curious to see how that plays out once we get farther into this race, because they were pretty close coming in, and that gap stretched a lot through the pits. So I wonder, you know, was Barry super conservative with how much fuel he took, or was Corey super aggressive? You know, is Corey going to have to potentially fuel save a little bit to make the end, whereas Barry won't? See how that plays out. Oh, looks like I might have an overtake. Yep. Frederick Gruppel making the move on Alex Hansen.
Got you on the replay.
So it looks like Frederick Gruppel sitting in the draft, and that Porsche benefiting nicely from it. Side by side down into the hairpin. And yet again, we've got another over-under down through there. That's not the easiest thing to do. You know, you can defend that if you really, you know, take that inside line and park the apex. The person behind that's trying to do the over-under, it'll really stunt their progress, but nicely done by Frederick Gruppel to make it work, and as Alex Hansen has a little bit of a moment there later in the lap, dropping him farther back.
Thank
you.
you.
It looks like right after he did that, Frederick went into the pits, so.
Thank you for the replay there. Looking back at what's going on the main screen here, McNichol chasing down Morgan Stringer in a little bit of a group with Zach Rust.
I just looked at that too. I think if I'm not mistaken, Stringer just came out of the pits potentially and kind of dropped into the middle of that, so he might be on slightly colder tires. You know, if you don't change them, they're not going to be that cold, but they're still not at operating temperature like they would have been if you were out on flyers.
Currently, the closest battle on track between these three, and looks like we practically have everybody pitted now, as one of the last people to go in is indeed Cody Wassum. So Jordan Smith back up into P1 and actually has, how did that happen? Bronson Turner was 5 seconds behind. So if that's something you can go check out, Will, that'd be awesome.
Let's go see.
Battle for the lead, 37 minutes and 25 seconds into the race here out of a 60-minute race. Bronson Turner has 22 minutes and 30 seconds to find some magic to overtake Jordan Smith. He's been patient so far, but is now looking for the opportunity to overtake. He's got some lap traffic ahead of him that might play into his favor. That Mustang of Ray Frias coming into play, trying to stay out of it. Bronson Turner right there still into the final sector here at Hockenheimring.
It looks potentially going back like Jordan Smith may just have had some traffic on his in lap. They were pretty different, and when they were about 2 laps different when they pit, and Jordan Smith caught Jacob Cunningham on entry to the stadium section, and then they both had a bit of a moment. He really got held up behind that GT4. GT4's not doing anything wrong per se. He's doing his race, he's doing his thing, and Jordan Smith just got really caught out by it. So it looks like that was the big difference, was he caught traffic on his in-lap, and then, yeah, he came out right in front of Bronson Turner from the pits.
Can you go back and have a look again? We want to turn that replay on when you're ready.
Yep, can do.
As these two battle live.
All right, go for me.
Yeah, I already got you on there.
All right. So yeah, we're coming up to the stadium section. We're on the drag strip right now, and he looks like he was thinking about it into that high speed right. Wasn't close enough. Stays behind him. Cunningham has a bit of a moment, but not a big one, and I guess he maybe got nervous about what was going on with that Porsche and just didn't go for the move, and then yeah, he's just still stuck there, really not having enough performance advantage to make the move safely. He could have tried, but you're taking more risks than you really should be on a lower class car at that stage. So he lost a decent chunk of time there, and of course pit right away at that point. There's no sense in staying behind him another corner for another lap. Just get in, get pitted.
Well, that battle was still looking good. Looks like Bronson made a bit of a mistake, losing 2/10 to the likes of Jordan Smith. Jordan now building a bit of a gap, as he did previously, just taking out chunks and chunks and chunks until he was 5 seconds away. But as you can see, a single instance in the race leads to some very interesting scenarios. We actually got a battle between Josh Willis and Barry Sessoms again. These two going at him.
Yeah, those two really have had a race-long tussle between the two of them. Did we lose another GT4? No, he's here. Okay. We did lose one of them. It looks like Parker retired at this point, but still have the other three going.
Barry looking pretty good.
Yes, I believe we have the lead battles about to encounter some lap traffic as well as GT4 traffic here in the next, most likely this lap. So we'll see how that plays out again. I mean, that's the car that Jordan Smith got stuck behind on his in-lap, and it all depends on where they catch him, right? Like, if you catch him in the right place, it's a super easy overtake. You catch him in the wrong place, you can get really stuck. So we'll see how this plays out. If you're Bronson Turner, you're definitely hoping that Jordan Smith catches him in the wrong place for him, in the right place for you, but given where they're coming to on track, it's going to be tough for both of them, I think. Oh, and yep, he's going to be stuck. Jordan Smith stuck behind him for at least a corner, so that definitely slowed him down a good bit. Bronson Turner goes around the outside of the GT4. But they are closer. See if he can take advantage of it now.
There are none closer, though, than Alex Hansen and Steven Tomazic. They were, well, about a 1/10 of a second away from each other. Both in the new Aston Martins. Both looking pretty good. Quite a bit of race experience. Hansen ahead in P6, Tomazic in P7. Alex had started in P6, Tomazic started in P8 up into 7 now. These two battling for that P7 spot.
What is going on here?
Tomazic chasing down Hansen. Kind of cool to see two of the same car battling with different liveries. Get to see different expressions of the curves of the lovely Aston Martin. Very pretty car.
Oh yeah, it's always fun to see what people decide that they want to, what their inspiration is and how that same canvas can be taken completely different ways.
I know something happened in Twitch, but I don't know what it was. I wasn't given, I heard a notification, but I didn't see what it was. So whatever it was, thank you. Whoever you are, whatever you did. Didn't come up in chat, unfortunately, for me to be able to appreciate.
As I am rejoining from a slight technical issue, you know, we were talking about whose home track it is and everything. Well, Mercedes has a corner.
Well, sorry. Looks like Alex Hansen has made a mistake, and Tomazic is looking to gain advantage from it, and Hansen ducks into the pits. What? He's already pitted once. Something happened.
Oh, maybe he pit too early. Maybe he realized he wasn't going to make it on fuel, and you know, this is his quick. He has to make a quick splash to make the end.
Oh my goodness, that was shaping up to be a fantastic battle, and unfortunately, we're gonna lose out on that based off of some fuel miscalculations. Blunted Gunner, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Trackalicious. We are 45 minutes and 55 seconds into our GT3, GT4 Mixed Class Championship here at iRacing. And looking towards the last stint here as we have a couple of battles on track. Here joined with Will Brunner in the booth. Will, Josh is under immense amounts of pressure from that Mercedes of Barry Sessoms. What do you think is going to happen here?
Oh no, he's been under pressure for a lot of this race, and he hasn't cracked really. I mean, yes, some people one of the cars got a position on him, but you don't see that too often, and I really don't think you see that more than once in a race. Now, they're definitely going to be getting farther down on tire wear, so that's going to start presenting a challenge, because most of the time in these races you're not going to change tires. They last long enough that the time you lose on cold tires coming out of the pits is not going to make up for the time you'll gain once they're up to temperature and quote-unquote new. So tire wear is going to start creeping in. I don't really know who that necessarily favors based on manufacturer. I guess it's more of a depends on which one of them is better at managing that. Especially here, you know, you've got a lot of slow corners. You're going to be working the rear tires pretty hard in those traction zones. So if you manage those better and not slid them as much coming out, you're better off. So we'll see.
And while that's happening, we got another battle between Tomazic and Wasem. Tomazic makes a mistake on the exit. Wasem right on his rear. Wasem giving some photonic motivation to move out of the way.
Well, I can stick with the Sessoms and Josh battle if you want to.
Yep, I got you.
Keep an eye on them.
And then actually Wasem manages to get through, so we got that position. We got more battles happening through here towards the end of the race. You still got on the picture-in-picture Josh Willis and Barry Sessoms fighting in the bottom right corner. However, on the main screen, we got Alex Hansen chasing down Justin Moffat, being chased by Zach Russ. Zach Russ making a mistake. And that's dropping him down with not Chris McNichol, but Morgan Stringer now making his way through. And now you have Alex Hansen being chased down by Morgan Stringer up here as he had that early issue in the race. Morgan Stringer has found 3 positions to Alex Hansen's lost 3 through the race here. Zach relatively neutral with a -1, with Chris McNichol with a +1. Goupil, unfortunately, having had that, oh my goodness, Goupil's missing half a car.
Oh. Well, let's see. What are we looking at with that?
Blunted, are you an iRacing driver? Are you a sim racer? What do you drive? iRacing, LMU, ACC?
He's been missing that since before I came back, unfortunately. It looks like it flew off in the final corner, but I don't see how it got pulled loose in the first place.
I do want to hop on board with the likes of Stringer here. Stringer looking ahead, and looks like Alex makes a mistake. Stringer goes through. Alex ducks in behind Stringer, and now you have the likes of Zach Rust with the Mustang of many liberties, now trying to gain an advantage as the tires have lost their traction, lost their grip. They're wearing away. Goupil makes his way, Stringer makes his way through. Hansen struggling, being a bit newer to the sim, trying to find his way and his experience in this sim.
Oh, we've got side by side between Sessoms and Josh Willis. Down into the hairpin. He's around the outside, and it looks like he's got the move done. We'll see if Josh can fight back into the next corner. No, it looks like Barry Sessoms is through with another overtake down into the hairpin. We'll go back. I was on board with them. Yeah, again, just that Mercedes, and it's got legs in the draft, and he goes to the outside, and Josh defends well, but just didn't quite have enough. Good track. Barry Sessom's got good traction out of there, and Will's got a little bit of wheel spin slowing him down. But yeah, watching that battle, I'm sure Barry was getting very frustrated because you could see, especially through one, it's really hard to, he was really struggling to follow closely and not lose out. But oh, here we go. Josh may be thinking about a move down into 3. Nope. Okay. He looked, but not quite. But I don't think this is necessarily over. You know, there's a possibility if he gets the right run that he could come back. And definitely you can see where the BMW seems more competent in the twisties, and the Mercedes just has the legs.
We actually have a bit of side-by-side action between the likes of Alex Hansen and Zach Rust. Zach Rust looking for an opportunity, does make it side-by-side, but then decides to tuck back in. Henson going a bit wide here in turn 2, compromising turn 3. Is that going to give Rust the opportunity to make the overtake? You would think, Will, that 53 minutes into a 60-minute race that all of the action would have calmed down, but nay, not in this championship. This championship has action right to the very end, and you have not only Josh Willis and Barry Sessoms in battle, Barry finding his way around. We also have Morgan Stringle, Alex Hansen, and Zach Rust. Stringer now driven away a little bit, but Zach Rust and Alex Hansen still going for it. Looks like there was an issue. That was really weird by Alex. Looks like he just gave the position away.
Maybe he just didn't feel he had the tires. But this is what happens with these races sometimes. You know, you get the frantic beginning to it. Some people lose out, some people gain above maybe where their pace would say that they had the ability to be, and then those people that had rough beginnings start coming back through. But the guys that had the advantage don't want to just give it away, so they're still going to fight for it. And yeah, you get what you've got now, where essentially the field expanded and now it's compressing again in certain cases. But looking at Jordan Smith, he's pulled away decently now from Bronson Turner. This is, you know, this is the kind of performance that we've seen from him previously. You know, he's had a lot of very strong performances where he will just go and be metronomic and drive away from the field. But over the course of the season, it's going to come down to, you know, occasionally he has had those moments where fuel calculation was an issue or just small stuff on starts. So this is a good start to his championship. We'll see if he can get the consistency this time.
We're not completely out of the water yet. Corey Fortner in P16 does have the likes of, or I should say Tyler Smith has the likes of Corey Fortner right behind. Again, an Aston Martin in the heat of the battle, chasing down with only less than 5 minutes to go.
Just looking back to GT4, Jacob Cunningham has a large lead on Ray Fries at this point. He's just been fast all race, clearly very consistent to pull away. And yeah, just a strong drive from Jacob Cunningham.
would expect nothing less from the multiple champion here at TRACKILICIOUS. Like I said, we do have a battle heating up here. Tyler Smith being chased down by Corey Fortner. Corey chipping away at that lead. Corey about 0.3 faster than Tyler up ahead. Is there enough time for Corey to make that opportunity into a reality? Taking P16 and turning it into a 15. It's not the most glorious of gains, but is a gain nonetheless. Points are points.
Absolutely. You know, there's plenty of times where those little one positions gained or one position lost at the end of the season can make a big difference.
We actually have the likes of Christopher and Mave coming into the equation as well between these three. And Mave right there. So Corey's trying to make an attack onto Tyler Smith while Chris is trying to make an attack onto Corey. These three practically bumper to bumper and getting closer every lap. But every lap is a very, very unique statement at this point in time in the race because there aren't that many. Is the GT4 traffic going to be a factor here? It is. Looks like Tyler does get blocked. And that does bring in the likes of Corey and Christopher into the equation. Now they are absolutely tip to tail, and we only have practically 2 laps remaining. And is Tyler going to be able to maintain a calm, level head, focus on his lines, and keep the legs of Corey Fortner and Christopher Odmave behind? What is going to happen? This battle for 15 just heated up, Will.
Oh, absolutely. And to complicate matters just a little bit more, Jordan Smith is close. Oh, Jordan Smith. Oh! That's the leader. That is the leader around. Oh, and through goes Bronson Turner.
Oh!
That's a change for the lead.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm going to stay on the battle for 15th. You stay on the lead. Unbelievable. It's never over. It isn't over till the fat lady sings, and we are less than a minute from the, or almost a minute to the final lap of the race, and Jordan Smith makes a huge mistake.
I mean, like I was saying, that tire wear, I guess, potentially was making its effects known, and Jordan Smith clearly felt he still had to push, and that came around and bit him a little bit. Oh, we got a GT4 off, but GT4 is going to be a non-factor, I believe. Yep, clean on, although that's a lot of gravel down. That could mess with people a little bit. Then the other factor in that battle for 15th, you know, we're looking at the final lap starting now as time is about to expire. That means they're on their second to last lap, not their final lap. So they're going to go kind of almost 3 minutes past the timer. You know, did they fuel enough for that? Is that going to be a factor?
And Sessoms and Willis back at it as well. Less than a second between them while these guys battle here. Oh my goodness, it is absolutely wild towards the end of this race. You have Tyler Smith, Christopher Admave, Alex Hansen now in the equation as well. Alex Hansen tugging in front of Corey Fortner. Fortner now in P17. Alex Hansen 16 and Mave in 15. Tyler Smith making up to 14, having gained that position from Alex's pit. And Mave now really applying the pressure onto Tyler Smith, and Alex Hansen's going to want to gain those positions back in his challenge for the title, trying to gain all those points back. We are past time waiting to see P1 pass the line.
I'm looking at Bronson Turner now as he enters the stadium section. He's looking pretty good. It doesn't look like Jordan Smith's going to be quite there at the end of this. We're rounding the second to the last corner, and into the final corner goes Bronson Turner. And a flash of the lights as he crosses the line. Bronson Turner wins the first round of the multi-class championship with Jordan Smith coming home second. Very nicely done by Bronson Turner. Good job maintaining the gap to be close enough where it was a minor mistake. It wasn't a huge one. He didn't lose a lot of time, but Jordan Smith, with that little half spin, it was just enough. And as we kick back, Jacob Cunningham now coming across the line. Flash of the lights as well for him as he wins the first round in GT4. Well done to him.
It's not over yet, though. On the other side of the track, into the hairpin, out of the hairpin, I should say. Christopher Edmave now challenging Tyler Smith, trying to gain anything that he can. 4/10 behind, 3/10 behind, looking for any opportunity in these last couple of corners. And you have the likes of Alex Hansen lurking in the background. Who is going to get P14? Who's going to get 15? And who's going to get 16? Edmave right there with only a couple of corners left. The Mustang looking, smelling, trying to find that opportunity, trying to pressure Tyler Smith into a mistake. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, that's a very wide Aston. Oh, wait, the Mustang's slow. That's a position down. Is he running out of fuel?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And Malve out of fuel.
Oh, that is painful. Coming that close and just that little bit of fuel. That was I was questioning, you know, you had that run where they were going kind of far past.
It's not over. Corey Fortner coming back. Does he have the fuel? This is the slowest race in the end of history. Oh my goodness. And Malve runs out.
Fortner's going to get the place.
Oh my. Wow.
I think Fortner's out of fuel as well.
Fortner crawls through the finish, but most importantly ahead of Edmave. Wow, what a finish to this race.
That's the risk that you take if you come in too early. You know, you can chance that you're just not going to have the fuel to make it quite to the end. And that's what happened there. So we go and take a look at... Where is he? Oh, no, wrong one.
And Will, we're gonna bring it back into the studio after that incredible action. Alrighty.
Absolutely.
Wow. Will, what a race one.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Great action up and down the field, and yeah, those little things right at the end, you know, as you said, it's not over until it's over, and to stay close, stay focused for Bronson Turner, that was a great job to still be there to be able to take advantage of that right at the end.
100%. And we would love to get Jordan Smith in here. We'd love to get, who else was on the podium? Bronson Turner. We'd love to get Jacob Cunningham, Ray Frias. So if you're around, come in. Let's have a conversation.
Yes, come one, come all. Let's see. Jordan appears to be in chat down there, as does Ray. I know Jacob's around probably somewhere. We'll see.
Alrighty.
And
there we go. All right. In the booth, we have Jordan Smith, Bronson Turner, Jacob Cunningham. Why don't we get started with Jordan? Jordan, so much awesomeness And a moment of not awesomeness, unfortunately, is all it takes. What happened there?
I was reaching to turn like my desk fan on and just had a little too much steering angle into the corner, caught the curb, and
The desk fan. Oh my goodness, gets caught out by the desk fan.
yeah, but props to Bronson for being in position to take advantage of that.
Well, all it takes is a singular moment, and it's not just that, but you know, you gotta have the other person on the other side to have that will and drive and that constant pressure. And Will, I'll let you take on that interview with Bronson Turner, who is the winner of our first race of the season.
Yes, congratulations, Bronson. How did it feel?
Oh man, it was that's all the pace that I had anyway. I mean, like, let's be real, Jordan definitely had that dub if it wasn't for that pesky desk fan. So great racing all around. When I saw him come out of the pits, I think he was like maybe a second ahead, and I was like, I have to get in front of him now and just try to block my way for 30 minutes straight. And yeah, just couldn't catch him. So I mean, that's literally all I had today. So great racing all around.
Yeah, great job. Coming into that, did you see traffic coming in? What was your thought with the pit strategy when you chose to come in?
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to I didn't see traffic, but I wanted to just make sure that I pitted alternate to what Jordan was doing. So when I saw that he stayed out, I had about a lap and a half of fuel anyway left. So I just pulled in from there. I had enough of a gap that I could see that he was going to stay out. The car behind me had pitted, so I just wanted to answer that and try to be on an opposite strat and hope for the best. And it almost worked there. But yeah, like I said, pretty lucky there at the end, but good racing all around.
Yeah, Jordan, it looked like you had a little bit of traffic trouble on your in lap.
Yeah, I got caught up in sector 3 behind one of the GT4s, and that cost me a good 3. Yeah, I mean, there's just nowhere to go in there, and that cost me about 3.5 seconds, and kind of undid all the fuel saving I was trying to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what it looked like. That was a lot of what had happened, and I mean, Jacob, understand the apology, but also, yeah, it's sector 3. You can overtake in so many places on this track, but sector 3 not so much. So yeah, that was definitely unfortunate. But it looked like you had a pretty straightforward race yourself, Jacob.
I mean, yeah, with the new GT4 update that iRacing put out with this build, those cars are just so much fun to drive. Like, from a pure driving standpoint, for a class with only 3 finishers, that was some of the most fun driving I've ever had.
You tell them, Jacob. You tell all those people in chat how fun GT4s are and that they need to come join us.
Yes, please join GT4. These are some of the most pure driving cars, it feels like to me in iRacing. You actually have to drive these cars. They don't drive themselves like some other cars would.
Yeah, none of that cheapo GT3 driving. Just basically Jordan presses play and goes into the top spots or whatever.
You have the arrow to get through corners. No, you gotta force your car into these corners.
Did you feel? I guess I'll ask all 3 of you to some extent, but how did you feel traffic-wise overall for the race? Any scary moments? Was it pretty good? Jacob, I'll go to you first, and then the 2 GT3s.
I mean, just, with the GT4s being slower into corners, now there are a couple of times when you just get a faster class car sticking it in a place that you really don't feel like you have the grip for them to pass you there. So you just kind of gotta hold on a little tighter, back off a little bit, and just try not to hit them.
Yeah, fair. For Bronson, did you have any issues with it, or was it pretty straightforward for you?
No, thankfully it was pretty clean. And to be honest, I didn't even look at the results or registration list, so I was expecting a packed field on both ends. And when we came up to lap traffic and I looked at positioning and saw it was like P4, I was like, what is going on? So I think had it been a full field, it definitely would have been another thing to manage. It would have been tricky for sure on this track. Today with the lack of GT4s, not so bad. But that said, Eric, I'm going to try to get 2 more people in on the GT4s, so I'll send them your way if I can get them on.
If you do that, I will give you free 0 kg ballast.
And Jordan, other than your in lap, was it pretty good? Any tricky spots?
Yeah, it was pretty fine for the most part. Like, there's only 4 of them, so as long as you caught him on the straight before, it was just sector 3. Like I said, if you weren't in front of him before I think turn 11, you're just gonna have to wait until the start finish to get past, pretty much.
Yeah, I kind of expected that coming in. Looking at it, it's like, yeah, it's just a tight sector overall, but at least you do have the rest of the track to really open it up, shall we say.
Yeah. Hairpin gets a little sketchy because you don't know how the GT4s are going to take it all the time, but
right,
just got to be patient.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Good job. And Will, after nearly an hour of trying to remember what his Twitch handle is, Barry Sessome's Twitch handle is Killer Beach. I finally clicked for me. So just a big shout out to Barry. He runs a fantastic community. On Fridays, does some hosted lobbies. Go check it out. Really fun crew to hang out with Muff and Dark and some of the boys out there. For now, we are done. There's no one else in the green room. Really had a fantastic race, a lot of action, and I'll let you sign it off there, Will.
Hey, thank you all for who came in and watched. Thank you to all the people who made it fun first round of the championship. Hopefully we'll get more of those GT4s and have even more fun as the season goes on, especially on some of those tighter tracks. So thanks all and have a good night.
All right, wherever you guys are, I'm Eric Ghoukasian, joined by Will Brunner up here in the Magic booth, and we'll be back soon. Will is going to be away next week for a special event, but we'll join back 2 weeks from then. And for now, we're going to be rating Parker W95. Go say hi. Go say what's up. Running some Road Atlanta, my favorite track of all time, in GT3s, I think, in a BMW. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next time. See ya.